Hello and welcome back. Dented Season 5 is starting next week, so we're going to have the usual preview and look at teams that we've got in this season, and then we'll do the draw for the fixtures at the end because everyone has been very good boys and accepted their tickets on time this time. So let's have a look at what we got. So we are at fifth season. Four of all my numbers are wrong. Played 4 seasons so far. Fifth season. 8 coaches in, so all 8 coaches from seasons 3 and 4 are back. We've had 8 coaches right the way through, 2 who didn't go beyond season 2. Two of these 8 coaches have played 2 seasons. The rest of us have all played 4. And I have got some stats as well as looking at the teams this time. So we can look at I've got sort of the rankings we've had all the way through and the current rankings amongst us. And because we've all played different amounts of seasons, it sort of worked out on an average, like points per game sort of rating. But before we start, if you've stumbled on this somehow, you don't know how to play Bubble, or you're new to the game or anything, I've been putting together a series on how to play the game, which I'm partway through editing the 10th and final part of that as I'm recording this. It's been quite fun to make. I'm going to put up at the top right a cards with a link to the playlist. So if you don't know how to play Bubble and you want to learn, it might be a nice place to look and have a start. It's been quite fun putting that together. But let's look at these 8 teams we've got in this season. So we've got a bit of variety. There are no stunty players in the league, which is the first time in all 4 seasons we've had that, because we've had lizard men all the time. Also been some halflings and some underworlding as well. But we'll start with Graven Games Chaos team, which is going to work through them in the order they are. Nice little murdershy goat there. Bit of goat play on those. Where are they playing? I was going to look at some stadium names. Goat Simulator 2000. I don't know if that's a joke I'm missing, but it's quite funny anyway. They've gone with the classic and almost definitive Chaos starting roster of 7 Beastmen, 4 Chaos Warriors and 3 rerolls. I think sometimes if people want to try and squeeze a Minotaur in, they sort of maybe drop a Warrior and a reroll to do that. I think starting with 2 rerolls with a Chaos team is generally a bad idea. You have no skills here. I also don't really like a Minotaur in a Chaos team, which I think I've said before in one of these when I played Chaos in the first 2 seasons. You often have to give the blitz that you get every turn to the Minotaur, and that devalues this skill here, which most of your team have, Horns, which is only useful on a blitz. So without that, these are just human linemen. So I like to be able to give the blitz to a beastman every turn. Gives you a 5th/5 player for a turn, which is quite nice. So now Graven Games has been here from the start. Played Lizardmen played Undead for seasons 1 and 2, and finished 5th and then 2nd. So got all the way to the final in season 2. Then played Lizardmen for seasons 3 and 4 and finished 3rd and 6th with those, and is on that sort of points per game average, is ranked 5th among the current 8 coaches. Chaos is a very challenging start with those no skills. There's no sure hands and no block, so you need these 3 rerolls, and you need dice to be kind to you to get Chaos going. But once you get them up off the ground, you get some block in the team for a bit of reliability and some specialist skills, they can really start to come into their own. So Chaos is a nice team to develop, but it's a frustrating team to start, so we'll see how that goes this season. Next up, we've got some humans. And if you're looking at this and thinking, oh hey, I'm a Charlton Athletic fan as well, this is the other one. They are leaning into that Charlton theme, playing at the Valley with this, which I've never really understood. I mean, it's that silly song that they sing. Sorry, Charlton fans, both of you. Also named, I'm pretty sure these are all former or current Charlton players. Is it George Costa? I don't really remember. Did Ken Wynne-Jones play for Charlton? I don't remember him playing for Charlton, but maybe he did. Maybe it's someone else. And then Mark Kinsella, Matt Holland, Chris Powell, Sean Newton, Klaus Jensen. Let's assume that's Janet Jackson, because I don't know who that is. I remember Kevin Peacock playing for Chelsea. I don't remember if he played for Charlton. Maybe he did. He did go to my secondary school, though. That's something to bear in mind. The one famous graduate. Clive Mendonca, obvious. Is it Luke Young? Maybe? So you're right back. I think I remember him. But yeah, anyway, this is the team I'd take to start a human team. 3 re-rolls, which I think is a great way to start a team. You've got the ogre and the 4 blitzers in, so they can mix it up when they need to. That's the 5 fighty players. They've got a thrower and a catcher, so they've got a passing game available. The linemen are there to make up the numbers in a human team, as you'd expect. We'll probably expect to see more catchers added at some point, but any team that can start with 4 block players is going to be a great way to start a season. And yeah, there they are. That's a good solid way to start. Got a bit of money to start saving for the apothecary as the next purchase, which probably most teams in the league are going to go apothecary first for things they buy. Now, Jim Bobalula has also been around all 4 seasons. He's ranked 7th out of all current coaches on that sort of average games thing. Has not yet made the playoffs, so could be looking to do that. Had their best season in season 4 last time with Undead. Started with Orcs and finished 6th both times. Then 7th with Halflings in season 3, and had their best season with Undead last year, and started playing really well as well with Undead. And this is a sort of kind of solid hybrid team again, so it'd be really good to see if we can get a playoff run out of this team this season. Next up is High Elves, which is me. So I've played Chaos for Bash and Underworld for Hybrid, and now I'm playing a Finesse team with High Elves, who were kind of my second choice for seasons 3 and 4 as well. And obviously I've gone with the way I would start a High Elf team, which is the 2 blitzers, 2 catchers, a thrower, and 2 rerolls. I don't like 2 reroll starts, but you sort of have to with Elves as far as I can tell, and it's the only time I'd start a team with 2 rerolls. Because if you want 3 rerolls, you have to drop 2 of these important 5 players and replace them with linemen, and I just don't want to do that. I'd rather have the good players at the start, and I really like High Elf throwers as they develop. So, and one of the first things I may well just go leader on this thrower as early as I can to get that cheap 3rd reroll, and maybe even leave it there. But we'll see. Quite looking forward to playing this team. It's going to be quite different to the other 2 teams I played in the league. Hopefully going to have some fun with them, and maybe a bit of success. We'll see. See if I can keep players on the pitch. Always a challenge when you're playing Elves. Though High Elves, definitely one of the tougher ones. So I'm ranked 4th amongst the current 8 coaches with that in that points per game list, and I started with Chaos. So season 1 finished 3rd. Season 2 I won the season, finished 3rd, and then switched to Underworld, finished 5th, and then 4th for seasons 3 and 4. So I've been in the playoffs 3 out of 4 times, which is quite nice. I'd like to try and keep that run up, not run, but because season 3 I didn't make the playoffs, but yeah, we'll see. That is High Elves. Next up we've got another agility team in Skaven. So it's a Jackal who's gone for some famous rats, celebrities. So you probably recognise some rat names there. And again, I quite like Skaven throwers, so this is the build that I like to take. Another popular one is because you've got that floating 10k to play with, you can afford to drop the thrower for another gutter runner. Or with this being old Blood Bowl rules still, passing based on agility, you can chuck the ball around pretty well with those. Quite a lot of players also like to drop the Rat Ogre for another gutter runner, and that gives you enough to afford an apothecary or another reroll if you want it, or another line rat. But I like having the Rat Ogre in for the start. I think these 3 players are really important. Obviously you build the team around gutter runners, which is why people like to get as many in as you can at the beginning. But these 3 players are also pretty crucial to how Skaven play, because they need that bit of punch which these 3 players give them. So it's a Jackal, also been around all 4 seasons so far. Started with Lizardmen, had a really, really good first season where I won all 7 regular season games, but ultimately lost in the final, so finished 2nd then. And then down to 5th second season, had a bit of a worse season then. But also other players just upped themselves a bit for season 2. Then switched to Necromantic, finished 6th in season 3 and 3rd in season 4. And yeah, really started getting a quite strong Necromantic team together by the end of that. And is ranked 3rd overall out of the 8 coaches that we've had in the league so far. So this is going to be quite a different challenge to Necromantic or Lizardmen. But I've actually played a couple of friendlies against this and lost both of them. So this will be not this coach playing Skaven, not this Skaven team. And yeah, is coming together quite well with those. Next up is some Nuggles. This is our second, and we've only got 2 Bash teams in the league this season, but this is the second one. And Roughbeard is the highest ranked coach among us so far. is starting with the beast, so that means it's a 2 reroll build, which is risky and bold. But if you want all 5 of these players in from the start, you have to start with 2 rerolls. There's no way you can afford the third one. Like even if you drop the Pestigore, which would be silly, you can't afford another reroll and 11 players with these 5 in. So it's really a choice between 3 rerolls or these 5 crucial players who are like the platform you build a Nurgle team around, really. I personally like to drop the beast for a rotter and another reroll, get the beast later on, but the earlier you get it in, the quicker it can start leveling. And that's the approach they're taking here. Other builds I've played with are like 3 warriors, 3 pestigores, 5 rotters, 3 rerolls, but I've switched to just starting with 1 pestigore. You can like level that one at a time, get it scoring some touchdowns, and then add the others in later on. But yeah, so this is going to be a nice challenge for the highest ranked coach, who has won 2 of the 4 seasons we've played as well. So it's kind of the one to beat, really, and is playing, I think, the most challenging team this season. So it's going to be really good to see how that goes. They've gone for some nice cheese puns as well, and I also want to applaud the effort of remaking the entire team from scratch when it's pointed out that Cathedral City would be an ideal stadium name. So yeah, hashtag cheese puns. And yeah, he's top ranked coach, as I said. So was brand new to Blood Bowl when they came in season 1, playing Pro Elves, and won that season with quite a challenging team. Then finished 3rd in the second season with the same team, lost to a certain Chaos team in the semi-finals. Then switched to Chaos Dwarfs for season 3 and finished 2nd, and then Bretonians in season 4 and finished 4th. So it's won 2 of the 4 seasons, playing quite challenging teams already. And this is going to be a nice new challenge as well. Like the Chaos, no useful starting skills at all. They've got all this weird stuff that makes it hard to play against them, but there's no block and there's no sure hands. So those 2 team rerolls are going to be crucial. It's why I like to start with the third one with Nurgle. Or with most teams, actually. I like to start with 3 rerolls, like I've said. But yeah, this is going to be fun to see how this works. It's not going to be fun to play against. So teams that rely on passing, like me, with high elves, are going to find this team a real challenge to play against. You've got to be very careful about where you position him. With all this disturbing presence, it makes passing and catching the ball quite a bit harder, especially when they all stack together. And they've got a bit of foul appearance will either do nothing or it will totally ruin the game. So yeah, Nurgle, a real challenge to play against, but also a real challenge to play with. This might be a team that builds up a bit over this season and then has a go at the championship in season 6, but this coach is really capable and might have a good go at a playoff and maybe further run this season. Dark Elves next. So this is one of the coaches that joined us in season 3, so they've only played 2. They are ranked 6th among the current coaches, and was another experienced player when they came in to play 2 seasons of Norse, and has finished, where are they? I've got a little graph here, which is quite hard to read. So finished 4th and then 7th with the Norse. Norse were a new team for them. I really struggled to get them going, especially in that second season or season 4 last time. I've gone with the 4 blitzers, 1 runner, 2 rerolls build. Like with pretty much all elves, you need to start with 2 rerolls to get a decent team together at the start. Something else that people like to do is maybe drop the runner for a lineman and a blitzer for a witch elf. So that's that sort of 10k you can switch around for that. That does give you a bit of dodge in the team at the start. Also some frenzy, which this coach will know about from having played Norse for 2 seasons. Personally, I like this build because I think block is the most valuable skill you can have in a starting team, because a lot of other teams don't have it and it's going to really come into its own that way. So I think packing as much block as you can into a team at the start is probably the right way to go, and get those other players later. And I like to get a witch elf after an apothecary because they're a bit expensive to replace. So like the human team, 4 block players in from the start is going to make them quite strong at that blocking game and a lot more reliable than some other teams. And having all this block means this 2 rerolls might not hurt you quite as much. And with the runner as well, you also have the option of going for the cheap 3rd reroll in leader quite early on. So yeah, that's an option I have. Nice to see another agility team in as well. So there's 3 in this. We've got High Elves, Skaven and Dark Elves. And we've not had an agility team since season 2, so nice to have them in. The only agility 4 players we had were 2 of my Underworld goblins last season. We've got next some Undead. So this is the other coach who joined us in season 3. Has only played 2. Is currently ranked 8th of the 8 coaches so far. Has gone with nearly the undead build I prefer 2 skeletons, 3 zombies, and I think zombies are usually more popular than skeletons in an undead team just because they've got armor 8. But skeletons come with thick skull and a bit more movement, so it gives you. I mean, the linemen are never going to be what you build a team around or that important, but they're backup players and they make up the numbers, and it's they've got quicker ones rather than slower, tougher ones. So that's maybe an indication of how they want to use them. But yeah, two ghouls, 2 whites, 2 mummies. They're going to be the core players in the team, and you can take up to 2 more ghouls later. An option you often see is a 3rd ghoul in place of one of the zombies or skeletons. I personally like just 2 ghouls at the start. That's how I play too. And 3 rerolls. So this will be a nice team to start getting to grips with. This coach was pretty new to the game when they joined us in season 3, and then played Norse and then Bretonnians, and finished 8th both times. Yeah, finished 8th in both of those seasons. But they were new to the game, and I think this is a much better starting team than trying to learn the game with Norse or then Bretonnians. And they played some tabletop before as well, but Undead is a great team to get to grips with how the game works. So this team in season 3 would have been great, and it would be good to see how Locus and Vane can get them going this time. Finally, we've got season 3 champion Lord Tarquin. It's playing Amazons this time. This was quite a late change. We were going to play Orcs, but switched to Amazons last night. And if you look at this roster, you can see how silly Amazons are at the beginning, because for 1,000 TV, you've got 4 rerolls and you've got 12 players with 4 players a block again. So it's another team, 3rd team in the league with 4 block players right at the beginning, which is going to be crucial. They've got a thrower and a catcher, so they can pass it a bit, but that's not really how Amazons play. It's just an option they have. And mostly you want these players for the skill access they give you. So you get some passing access from the thrower, and you get some agility access from the catcher. I think I'd personally go 3 rerolls, 2 catchers, drop one of these linos for a catcher. And then if you really want a 4th reroll, which you don't necessarily need, or certainly not for long, on many teams, you've always got the option of a cheap extra reroll on the thrower. And if you pick up leader on this thrower, you could always drop one to keep your team value trimmed. But the key thing about this team is all of this dodge that they've got here. So every player in the team has dodge. So those, and then you've got Skaven, and you've got Dark Elves, and you've got my High Elf team. Those 4 teams, they're going to make tackle a really valuable skill in this league. So as we see teams develop, I think we're going to see some tackle being taken, because there's 4 teams that ultimately it's going to be really useful against. So I think we're going to be seeing tackle on players maybe earlier than you normally would. You might even be skipping some block or wrestle to go straight in for that tackle. Maybe looking at the fixtures you've got coming up to see how that goes. So Lord Tarquin played Vampires for seasons 1 and 2. Had played the game previous to starting, wasn't one of those 6 new coaches. But finished, I think, was it 4th both seasons? Yeah, 4th for seasons 1 and 2 with Vampires. Then won season 3 with Khemri, and finished 2nd in season 4 with Khemri. Has been doing really well. Is ranked 2nd amongst all the coaches. That's our 8 teams. We've got them in there. Can hit go on the schedule and generate up some fixtures. Does this do it, or do we have to go in? No, we've done that. Yeah. So we've got fixtures going. So we've got to start. We've got Skaven against Amazons, and we've got Nurgle against High Elves. So I'm straight away going into playing that team that I can't play my careful passing. I have to be very careful playing passing against them. But at least I'm playing them early before they get developed. So it's a baby Nurgle team with 2 rerolls against my High Elves. So I've got to see what I can do about that. Then we've got Dark Elves against Humans and Undead against Chaos. So those are our early matchups. I'm going to go through and look at where I've got just on my fixtures, but everyone else in the league can come in and see these. They're all there. So second up, I've got Amazons. That's going to be tough, so I'm probably not going to have any tackle in my team by the time I get that. It might mean I change my priority, so if I level a blitzer, maybe I'll take tackle instead of dodge. I don't know. I'll have to see how the leveling goes from the first game if I get anything at all. Then I've got Humans. Then I've got Chaos. So Chaos team might have some reliable skills by that point. Then I've got Undead, game 5, game 6. I've got Skaven, so that's quite late on. And finish the season away to Dark Elves. So that Elf off is going to come last day of the season. But there we have it. Here's our first games. Coaches can start arranging those. We're starting next week. On Monday it officially opens. And I'm going to try and stream some of it back on Twitch. I've not done a lot of streaming the last couple of months. But yeah, try to get back to it. Probably with most, if not all, of my games. So we'll hopefully start with that one against Nurgle in the coming weeks.